Hello and welcome to another video of mine. It's Ant-Man here, and today I'm going to be doing a recap of my one and only trade today. A nice reversal I took on Grubhub. It was actually my only trade today, and it came late in the day, which is a first for me, and I think ever. Today was a day that I exercised a good deal of patience. In hindsight, the market today looked easy. But then again, so does everything in hindsight. My opinion, in the actual moment, the price action this morning, especially the first, hour or so, was very fakey, very choppy. Until about 10:30, 10:45 in the morning. Then it finally picked a direction. Here, I can show you what I'm talking about here. If I pull in my SPY chart here, you can see that, very kind of indecisive, choppy action in the morning, no real direction. Had this quick spike, and then right here, right about 10:30 or so, it kind of just put in a quick lower high and then dumped. And then once it put in the double bottom here, I thought we were going to have a nice rally back up, but nope, just more of this chop around shit that's been happening more than I care to talk about. But in any event, yeah, there was that big sell-off, and then like I said, it was just Chop City again. So not the easiest of reads today for me. Definitely easier than it has been the past couple of weeks. It has been getting easier. Now I don't know if that's because I'm getting more skilled or if the market is being easier to read, or both. But I do feel that, the past couple of weeks, the market has been getting, although still difficult than it once was, say 6 months ago. It's getting progressively easier to read, I think, and that's just my opinion on it. I don't know if you all feel the same or not. But that does speak to the importance of patience and discipline. And I know it's a topic I've touched on many times in my videos and blogs and whatever I talk about. But it's very important, especially in a choppy market like this, just to have the patience to wait for that proper setup, to wait for the trade to come to you, not you go chase the trade. And the self-discipline to exercise that patience. It's very, very important. And what I'm seeing and what, I've been told, and now that I'm experiencing it, I'm seeing it actually is true, is, the more patient you are, the easier things are going to get over time. The more profitable you'll get over time, the more consistent you're going to get over time. And it is something that does take time, but if you let it work, these things will happen. So back to what I was saying about the SPY. It was about, 115, 130, give or take, and that's kind of the worst time of my day to trade historically. And I was, thinking that it was less and less likely I was going to find a trade today, because you had the SPY chopping around. It was kind of just hugging the 9 EMA, bouncing back and forth between the 260 to the 269 area as support and the VWAP as resistance, and it was just a back and forth like a bouncy ball. There really was no direction. There wasn't any real follow through that I saw, at least on what I was watching. So then I saw Grub hit the ATM reversal scanner, and I decided to pull it up. And to my surprise, what I saw on Grubhub was quite a shocking run up here. It gapped down big. It gapped down like almost 20% this morning. Sold off. And I was actually considering this for a down gap play this morning. But over the past couple of weeks, the down gappers really haven't been in play. That strategy really hasn't been in play, hasn't really been working well. So I kind of decided to stay away from those from now, unless they're really good setups. And it does sound contradictory, because this actually was a really good setup. I was just concerned because of a couple of factors. One, the huge gap down. It's a 20% roughly gap down. Anything over 10 SSR is going to be on the stock, which means it's just going to be a little bit harder to get shorts, and there's going to be more fighting on the way down, even though it probably will ultimately come down some more, which it did. It's probably going to be a fight. Of course, this time it really wasn't, as you can see from the chart. A couple of green candles, but majority of the candles are red, straight down. Held pre-market low support, then broke. Beautiful. It even followed the trend. If you mark the pre-market trend right here, it actually followed the trend straight down. Sold off, popped back up, rejected the VWAP, and rejected high of day at the same time. So this green candle here that rejected VWAP, rejected high of day, and rejected this downtrend which started in the pre-market. This was a perfect entry. Perfect entry here to get about 4 points to the downside, and from the looks of this chart, it was a pretty easy 4 points. It wasn't there wasn't no back and forth. There wasn't any kind of struggle. This thing just kept selling, and this would have been a really, really nice play to have taken this morning. But like I said, since the down gappers really haven't been in lately, I'm kind of less focused on them and more focused just on my basket of stocks and the stocks that we trade. So after this gap down, when it hit the scanner at 130 roughly, I pulled up the chart, and like I said before, I noticed this huge tear it went on from lows to the point where I pulled up the chart. This thing tore 15 points, and I was quite shocked, to be honest, to see this kind of a tear after this huge gap down and a sell-off. You kind of figure it is going to find some level of support, and people are going to see a buying opportunity, but I didn't think it was going to be this kind of a buying opportunity. I thought it would, come back up a few points, maybe retest this high of day here, which is this red line here, put it in a double top, maybe go a little bit over, and then ultimately start to drift back off. I did not expect a 15-point ramp up on this. I was, after the huge gap down, not expecting this, and it's Grubhub, for fuck's sake. It's a food delivery service. It's not Apple. It's not Microsoft. It's not a blue chip company selling a quality, tangible product. It's a food delivery service. So really didn't see the warrant for this kind of run up. In my head, I'm saying, who the hell is ramping it like this? It almost looked manipulated to me in a little bit. Not that I saw anything in the price action. It's just, like I said, it's Grubhub. It's not a market leader. It's not a blue chipper. But I'm not a fundamental analyst. I'm just going off my own opinion. So at the end of the day, I do play the chart, and I will play the price action that I'm seeing. And I said to myself, you know what? This doesn't look like it's ready to top out. But then when I pulled it up, it was right at the 9 EMA. I think this was a little bit higher when I pulled it up. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep this up on a chart and see what happens. Maybe I will have a play after all in this. And I kept it up. And while this thing is doing this thing, it's ramping higher and higher. I pulled the daily chart right here, and I started to do some analysis on the daily chart, looking for levels. And what I did find are some important levels here. You can see this 66, 64 held as support. It was lows today, right here. It was the low of this move here. And then way back here, it held as support on 3 separate occasions. Maybe a few more in here. Nevertheless, very important level of support. And this 83.75 was respected many times here as the open price, here, a bunch of times here, almost right there. And then in the past 2 days, it was the high, and it was the closing price. So also this is a very key level. as well on the daily chart. So now that I have my levels marked up, I'm sitting here and I'm watching Grubhub do its thing, and then what do I notice? Right at this 83.75, I noticed this orange line, which was yesterday's close, and I noticed this purple line, which was yesterday's high of day. And I think, yeah, and then also the previous high was also right there. Oh, excuse me, this was yesterday's close, and then high of day right there. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was right. And then almost high of day the day before that. So a lot of resistance in this area here. So seeing how well the levels got respected on the daily chart, I was prepared to take a short position if it ramped into this, we'll call it 83.80 area, and failed. And as it kept putting in higher highs, I'm watching it run right into the level here. And if I zoom in, you can see what happened here. It hit its head and boom, came right down. So what I ended up doing, as soon as I saw this, I gave it a candle just to see what it was going to do. And when this third candle opened red is where I got in short. And I believe that my fill was 83.20. And on this, I only took 50 shares. And that is not because I'm trading scared or I'm afraid or anything like that. It's because of my rules. The time of day dictates, for me, according to my rules, the time of day dictates a smaller position size. And also the float on Grubhub. The float on Grubhub is 90 million, which is technically speaking a low float stock. So this is a low float, higher price stock. According to my rules, that also means size down. This is a play that I would have probably, taken anywhere from 500 to 800 shares on something like this. Given the risk I had on the play, it was only about 50 cents. So, probably 500 shares, it would have been about $200 and change risk on this play. And 500 shares would have paid very handsomely, as you can see. There was no reason to get out of this trade all the way down to the 9 EMA right here. And that is actually where I took my first profit. I took off 30 shares right here. I had 20 shares left, and when I saw it hold this $80 level is where I figured it's holding the $80. It's a very round whole number, psychological level. So I took off 10 more shares here, and so now I've taken off 40. I have 10 shares remaining, and what I decided to do is set my stop to break even and walk away and let the trade do its thing. And it did retrace. It actually put in a beautiful lower high. For anyone that missed this entry here, you could have taken it right here. Would have been a little bit of risk on here, just about a point, but again, if it took small size, this was a beautiful entry. It resolved very nicely, and it gave another almost 3 points on the trade. Like this here gave me about 3 points, a little over 3 points. I actually never got stopped out, so what I ended up doing is right before the bell, I just covered my final 10 shares, and this actually was a very, very nice trade and on only 50 shares. And looking back in hindsight, that gap down this morning, I probably would have hit it with 500, but, it's and it's a paradox that we have to, think about in day trading is we're all in this with the ultimate end goal to make money. But as you're formulating yourself and your education and you're honing your skill and learning and all that stuff, it's not about the profit. It's about the consistency. And, it's just one of those two concepts that in my mind, and probably a lot of your minds out there too, they're juxtaposed in your brain, where you're in this to make money, but at the same time you can't make it about the money, and it's a weird paradox if you really sit down and think about it. So that's, why I say that I would have probably hit it hard. However, my rules dictate that I have to trade it this way. So just to recap, what gave me confidence to take this trade, because this really didn't give me what I would call an A plus setup. It didn't retrace and test or put in like a mini double top or anything like that. Couple things gave me the confidence. One was this huge overextension. As I touched on before, it's Grubhub. It has no business being up here, like, on a 15-point tear after it dumped on what appeared to be either some type of bad news regarding earnings, whether it was an earnings miss or or lowered guidance. I really didn't look at the news, to be honest, so I don't know. But whatever it was caused it to dump really hard. So we have this huge, it wasn't parabolic, but it was this really big run up. Got super extended from the VWAP. It came grinding up into an area where there was a lot of resistance. We had, like I said before, the daily level of 83.80. We had yesterday's close, yesterday's high, the day before's high, and a number of days respected this level on the daily chart. And we also had the look of this move up into a level of resistance. And if you're in trick trades, you should know what I'm talking about here. When I say there's the look, it should ring a bell for you guys. Excuse me. Look at this, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, excuse me, I just had a brain fart. So, as I was saying, if you are a Trick Trades member, you will probably know what I'm talking about. But if you're not a Trick Trades member, why don't you come by and check us out? I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can see what we're all about. But nevertheless, it was a combination of all those things that gave me the confidence just to go in as soon as I saw it really starting to fail. And turned out to be, even with 50 shares, a very nice trade. So, I know I seem to be rambling on a little bit. It is getting a little bit late for me here. I had a very long day between trading and work and everything else I had to get done. It's time for me now to upload this video and go to bed. So, on that note, that's all I have for you guys, and I hope you enjoy the video. And if you do, please like, please share, and please subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Have a great night, guys. Ciao.